Mm-hmm. Yep. It's about that time. Emceemur here, everybody. And welcome back to another fantastic episode of Tuesday Night Live Streams. We are ready to take a look at the Legends Flashback Blast live on the show. And I gotta tell you, this thing is neater than you might think. There's some fun to be had here. And we're gonna start right away having that fun with some burger time. Because who doesn't like some burger time? We were already joined by the Ice Pirate and Trident Leader. Welcome, guys. It is time for all the Atari action you can handle. And then some. Now, I love some burger time. No secret there. And I have played more of the Nintendo version than anything else. But this is pretty awesome, I gotta say. You gotta love the burger time music. We always used to joke back in the day, you know, what are we gonna play? Oh, I'll play some burger time. The joke being that obviously there was more action-packed things for us to play than burger time, right? No, there wasn't. Play burger time. Play it! HBK is here and says, I can't handle it. You can totally handle it. You can totally handle it. You can handle burger time. So what we are streaming is the Flashback Blast. We are joined by Big Bad Kenny Jones. Welcome, Ken, to our Tuesday night live stream event. Great to have you in the chat, sir. Oh, we're going to need some salt to get out of this mess. Oh, I hit the wrong... Okay, so there's 6 buttons on these things, right? And we're used to just having one, so I fumbled there. I gotta say, I don't dislike the design because, I mean, you know I'm a Sega guy, so a Genesis design is not foreign to me. It's just foreign to me when we're talking about playing Atari games. But it shouldn't be an issue. The D-pad actually does feel good. Got him with the salt shaker. And it's responsive. You know, there's been some issues of people saying that this is just not a good thing and don't buy this. And it's like, you know what? It's under 20 bucks. You waste that going to McDonald's any dadgum way. Just pick one of these up. You'll have fun with it. And the point of tonight's live stream is just that. To live stream it. You know how easy it is to get this thing set up? I mean, we've been working with that Retron 77. I can't even get that to have sound come out of it now. I mean, half the time the capture cards don't even recognize it. I don't know what's going on there. I haven't had time to talk to Hyperkin about that or to reach out to them, and I plan to. I like what the Retron does. It's aesthetically pleasing. I hope that we can get something working with that there. But right now, this is a really cheap alternative to having the original equipment in your place. So it's like, I don't hate this. The little blast dongle, I mean, everything's on that. Get up there, dadgummit. Oh, he got me. Everything's on that. So you can just plug that into the card and it picks it right up and it sounds good and it works good and that's what we got there. He didn't get me. Oh. He's going to do it again. Nope, we got it. The hot dog's not going to get me. We're joined by Jason Vetrex. Jason Joseph, the Burger Time. Yeah, Jason can tell you how much Burger Time we played back in the day. Jim's Retro Zone has joined us. If you haven't watched Jim, he's a big-time Atari guy. I enjoy watching his program. Great to have you guys in the live stream tonight for some Burger Time on the Flashback Blast. And again, that's the great thing. Everybody's got an HDMI port at home. You want to play some Burger Time? No problem. Wrong way, chef. You can, yeah, I hate it when a white square gets me. Now, were this the Nintendo version, we could see very clearly that these are scrambled eggs and hot dogs coming after me. And who doesn't like a scrambled egg on a burger or an egg over medium? I love a fried egg on a burger. If that's on a menu, regardless of what kind of restaurant it is, we're probably getting the burger with the fried egg on it. Just a weakness of mine. HBK says, what if my TV does not have a USB port? One will be provided for you at no extra cost. HBK, we know you got HDMI ports. You're holding out on us. There ain't nothing your game room don't have. I've been in there. Dadgummit. I was over at HBK's recently and we were playing the Turbo Duo, and I played some Ballast 2 for the first time in 20 years, and I gotta say, it was great. I mean, you forget. You just forget. You don't forget, but man, you just, that feeling and what that old school goodness does to you, to get back to something like that that's so rare and exotic, that was a treat. I love the Atari logo on your OBS. Yeah, that's hot stuff. I keep the logos fresh on there. It kind of, just barely squeaked by that dadgum thing. It kind of solidifies and brands the live stream, as I like to do, thereby making it an official. I'm a making things official kind of guy. But yeah, proud to be able to bring this to you tonight, and it's going to be Atari Madness all week on the Emceemur show. So much stuff coming out, so much stuff that already has come out, and oh my god, I'm out of salt, and I'm sitting here putting up a brave front like I'm going to scrap with this egg, and everybody knows I ain't going to do it because I got no salt. How you going to come in an egg with no salt? So yeah, a lot of stuff coming your way. We're going to be taking a more in-depth look at the Flashback 9. Most likely be live streaming some of what we've done with that on Thursday. It's going to be an Atari overload. More stuff than you are ready to absorb, I can guarantee. And that won't be all. A special surprise coming in Friday that we're going to look at. And that's not all either. We're going to kick off the Vintage Computing series that I've been promising you on this channel. Most likely this weekend, episode of one of that will go live. And dadgummit, that thing got me. I almost had my last burger made, dad darn it. Yeah, so can't wait to share that with you guys. You know, for the longest time we didn't have a good way to stream Atari stuff. I don't know of a way to stream coax and upscale it. AV upscaling is not a problem. Coax, that just goes a little too far back. So there has to be other ways, right? And the Flashback is kind of an answer to that. And the Retron was supposed to be. If we can iron out the issues it's having, it still will be. Because there's a lot of stuff on there we can check out. But we're doing some things with the Flashback that's really going to amaze you. It's amazing me. And I can't wait to take a look at that with you later on this week. Jason Vetrex says he was just playing the Neo Geo Mini. I had one of those ordered, and I canceled it. And I gotta tell you, the Neo Geo was neat for what it was. We did rent them back in the day. But I also gotta say, I was never so fond of those games that I had this burning nostalgia for them like I do other things. I don't know what it is. I recognize how exotic that stuff is. And if anything, that's the allure to me, to want that stuff. You know, its value and its rarity. But yeah, it just doesn't. I don't yearn for it like I do Sega Master System and stuff like that, I guess. But I know that's your jam, and I know that's Hov's jam. Desk Laser has joined us. Welcome, Desk Laser, a newcomer to Mur Nation. Glad to have you on the team. Glad to have you in our Tuesday night live stream this evening. This version has some pretty tight. It's not bad, you know. It's a little. I mean, it's 2600. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But the D-pad on this thing versus a joystick is not cramping my style. We're getting it done. We're getting the burgers made. Oh, dadgummit. Freaking egg. So yeah, back in the day, we'd just be sitting there looking at my game wall, which was still big, just not as big as it is now, obviously. And we'd be like, man, what are we going to play, man? And it'd be like, oh, I'm going to play some Burger Time. It's like, no, you're not going to play Burger Time. But then we would. Sometimes you would. Dadgummit egg. Alright, we got burgers. Burgers. Alright, chef, come on. We've saved up our salt, so we're armed to the teeth with iodized Morton salt. Ain't nobody gonna be messing with this chef. Oh, come on. Ooh. I had to fire off some salt. It was getting too hairy. Getting too hairy. Game Beaters have joined us. I like this version of Burger Time. It's growing on me too. I gotta say that, you know, again, I played more of the Nintendo version. Had plenty of friends with Ataris. I had Ataris. Did not have access to this game, and none of my friends had Burger Time that I know of. So this just was not a version I have history with like I do the NES version. But, you know, the 2600 games have that simplicity, that beauty that's all their own. And it's a thrill to go back to it, to play through it, and to go for those high scores. And ironically see just how soft modern gaming has made us when you come back to some of these. It's a riot. It is. We got to get to work on this burger over here. We got a bonus item over here that we're not going to get to, but we are going to crush a hot dog. And that has made it all worthwhile. Anybody watching new to the Emceemur show, glad to have you here. And if you have not already done so, hope that you're going to drop a like on this video, and hope that you're going to subscribe to the Emceemur show, be a part of Mur Nation. We are 750 something strong today and counting, and that's great. Glad to see that. Glad to see things are beefing up. So much fun to have right here on the show. We want each and every one of you to be a part of that each and every week. And dadgummit, here come the egg and the frickin' whatever that is. All right, we're in an MS situation. Dadgummit, that's a must salt situation. Congrats on 750 Mur. I appreciate it. It has been a long road, longer than it probably should have been. But you know, when you do it naturally, it takes a longer time. But I think you get more substance there. I feel in tune with the community. I feel like we've got a great core. You know, I love doing stuff with you guys on here. We have a blast. And the community's got so much to offer in and of itself, you know. Especially when we're sitting here doing stuff like this. All the stuff that we talk about, the stories that we share, the look backs on all this. That's why we're here in the first place. That makes it, man. That does it for me. And we're going to kill this hot dog. Except that he took a turn on us. That sneaky hot dog. Dadgum, you hot dog. Get down there, chef. Oh, come on, chef. You can do it. Ice. Some Dash Galaxy. Yeah, Jason and I tried Dash Galaxy once. And I mean once. And I can't believe I just took a hit. But let's be careful. But I didn't even get me. Bacon, that's what the other one is. I'm forgetting what all food is here because they don't all look like they used to. On the more detailed versions. God, freaking hot dog coming after me. Yeah, we tried Dash Galaxy one time. MS situation. If you don't hit the D-pad, he's always going to default salt to the right. And I hemmed when I should have hawed. This is quickly unraveling here. Get up there. He got me salting. He got me salting. Well, stage 3, that's not too bad. I've done worse. Alright, so we're going to go back to the menu. It's important to note that we've got save states here. So with that, I could have gotten to level 2. I could have saved my game. And that's not natural because we didn't have that back in the day. But if you ever want to do that and just see how far you can really max the envelope and get in one of these games, that can help you. Or if you have to take a mean one and you got a great score going, you can go drop the kids off at the pool, hit that save state, and be back in time to do some more damage. So good stuff. Yeah, if you never played Dash Galaxy, try it once. It's not going to cost you much. But man, that's ranking up there. One of the worst I've ever played. Alright, so we're going to quit that one. Let's go back to the menu. I remember when my dad brought home Pac-Man. I think that's why I don't like it. Well, you know, there were upgraded versions of that, the 4K versions of Pac-Man, and I think we're going to have access to some of that real soon we can take a look at. There's not many versions of Pac-Man I can't get down on. I think I get down on all of them just because I'm a sucker for it. I don't ever turn my back on the Pac. I have Dash Galaxy. I've never played it. Give yourself a minute with it. Give yourself a minute with it. I'm not going to say you'll be glad you did, but it's just something you got to suffer through. Burnin' Rubber from the popular arcade game. You know, and I'm not familiar with the name. It just is bump and jump when you get right in here is what it is, but I like it. It's fun. Let's take a look at this. Again, I got this for $18 at my local Walmart. Wasn't even in there for that. But I always go by the game section and see what they're giving away. There's a skull and crossbones coming at me. Oh, we gotta jump. Oh, I didn't jump. Dadgummit. Okay, yeah. A's the jump. You gotta remember, A's your action button. Everything else is just functional as far as, you know, changing difficulties, ratios, all that stuff. All the different features that come with this game. That's why you got 6 buttons, because the controller's the whole of it. I gotta bump some people. Or not. Whoa! Jesus. Put him in the wall. And I will catch up on the chat in a minute, but I'm bumping and jumping. Got to make sure that we keep our wheels on the Rizzoed. Ooh, barely got the jump off. So there's some good picks on these, and there's, you know, there's a handful of different ones that you can get. Some with as much as 20 games on them. This one only has 12, but it's got some pretty good picks on it, and I definitely couldn't leave it there. Whoa! The car needs an alignment. Yeah, I've actually got a physical copy of Bump and Jump for Atari. Always loved that game. And there again, more experience with the NES version. But for the versions of games that were multi-plat, you know, that were on 2600 that I didn't get to play back then, it's nice to look back and see them. It is. Games I remember playing the most on 2600, it's funny because, you know, I'm not a Gen Xer, but I am. You know, I was born in 78. So by the time I got into gaming, around 83, 84, right in there, and I jumped way too early. Did not mean to do that. But, you know, my neighbor had a 5200. That's actually where I cut most of my Atari teeth, not the 2600. But then I had friends with 2600s too. There were plenty of them out there. They were just people I didn't hang out with as much as my buddy down the road. But still, I was able to cut my teeth on the 2600 in a number of different people's houses. My Atari was the 1040 ST, which we'll be looking at first in our vintage computing segment, and I can't wait to do that. That thing's very special to me. And some games that I remember from 2600 that really take me back are Tutankhamun, which I'm so glad has been added to the lineup for the Flashback 9 this time. I remember E.T., not the worst game ever made. It really wasn't. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Wadaga. And we played a lot of ColecoVision too back then. A lot of people don't have, you know, excessive ColecoVision memories, and that's, I can see that because, you know, I only knew one person that had one of those, but eventually I knew two, and, you know, we played a lot of that. Looping and Smurfs Gargamel Castle Adventure, or whatever the hell it was called. It was so bad, but it was so good. ColecoVision did some stuff very well. Did some stuff very well. It deserves more credit than it gets, honestly. Oh, that's why you don't want to get caught there. Spy Hunter is fantastic. Captain Retro says, do you see that new C64 with a full keyboard coming? No, I did not. So send a link, because you know I'll buy it. Oh, what did I hit? You know I'll buy it. I'm a Commodore nut. And I am terrible at this. Descalator said, I've always said Superman 64 is the worst game. It was bad. Yeah, E.T., right, it was misunderstood. You're right. It was misunderstood. We're in a time now people couldn't even fathom having to play a game like that, but I can remember sitting in a room and thinking, man, this is what we're doing today. We're going to play some E.T., dadgummit. And we didn't think, there's so many games in so many eras, mini eras within the 80s, because you got to think about that decade. Games changed so much in the quality and what we were able to do with them. I can remember just sitting there with some games like, Ice Pirate was talking about TMNT Turtles, the Ultra version on NES. Terrible game. Horrible game. Nobody thought it was, though. And we still kind of don't today, because we look at it through goggles that maybe it shouldn't be looked at through. But I mean, back then, it was like, oh, there's a Ninja Turtles game. It wouldn't matter what it was. They could have put the Ninja Turtles logo on a dog turd and we'd have bought it. Because that's how cool they were at the time and how much we were into it. So is it a good game? No, it's not. Do we still love it today, and did we love it then? Absolutely. And it still does something for us today. God, swimming under the dam every time. There were certain parts of that game that you just dreaded when you got to them. And it's like, this is why I don't want to play this anymore, because I get to this part and I'm like, oh. Dude, come it. Jump! Still better than 4. WWF Crush Hour. Okay, let's talk about that one for a minute. It was PlayStation 2, I believe it was. I believe it was PlayStation 2. I don't know if it was cross-gen or not, but yeah. PlayStation 2, WWF Crush Hour. I got a copy of Crush Hour. Disc only, didn't know what it was. I'm testing my games, right? Most of them for resale. I'd refurbished them. Oh, I got oil slicked. Man, it gets real right about this point. So you come... What did it do? Start me over? Well, I wanted to show you... Well, it just starts over when you hit start again. I wanted to show you the menu system. Okay, that is totally not what I wanted to do. Well, I don't want to pause it. I've hit a button here. Okay. But Crush Hour, I'm thinking I got a wrestling game, right? And I'm like, okay, this is going to be awesome. Or not, but at least it's a wrestling game. Now, if you've never played Crush Hour is basically Twisted Metal with, like, wrestler cars. It was so bad. And I remember just looking at this thinking, God, how did this become whose idea was this? You gotta wonder if they even advertised that it was what it was when it came out, or did they just put wrestling on it? NES Muscle. Okay, we can talk about that for a minute, too. Yeah, it's bad. Okay, but as somebody that bought a lot of Muscles back in the day, because I did, anytime, when Muscles were the thing, if I had $1, I was buying a pack of Muscles. Should be burning a hole in my pocket. I had to go out there and get a pack of Muscles. I've still got all my Muscles in a Battle Beast lunchbox in my closet, and I'll never get rid of them. And then they did the cuties, for the girls, which obviously really did not take off. I've got a sealed pack of cuties put up that I found at somebody's yard sale for $1. It's funny, I'm paying retail for it, but then again, are you really? No telling what a sealed one is worth today. Just for collector's sake, it's super cool. I wouldn't get rid of it. But yeah, Muscle on the NES was pretty bad. The only instance in which I liked it was because it was kind of wrestling. It was playable to an extent, and I knew who some of the characters were. And, there has been later iterations of Muscle, both on PS2 and on GameCube, that are actually really good games. If you've never had the pleasure, I would recommend them. Ultimate Muscle on the GameCube is really good. It's got a My-Off option. It handles almost like a Dragon Ball Z fighter, but it's a great wrestling game, lots of great moves, and again, the art style, the character style, stuff that you're going to remember from the old school 80s toy. I bought Muscles too, still thought it sucked. Alright, so we got to jump, trying to get my menu on here. Menu, okay, so we want to save. Overwrite state, yes. Can't tell if it did that or not. Save 6. Okay, so it takes a minute. All right, so I got my bump and jump game saved for what that's worth. Look at the wheels just going nuts. Here's a link to the 8-bit guy talking about it. Captain, that's fantastic. I can pull that up in the live chat later and go straight to it with a cup of coffee and just read all about it. That's why we have community, man. We watch out for each other. We keep everybody in the know. Nobody knows it all, man. That's why it's great to have a community. We miss stuff, you know. Bury me in a tomb of muscles. It's just completely made out of pink rubber. And we'd play with those things. We'd make them wrestle each other. Pretend like they were doing moves because you couldn't really bend them that far. Whoa, Jesus! That was a jump. You never know what's under you. Oh, here comes the oil slicks. Yeah, get off my road. Yeah. Oh, I thought that was a bit premature, but get off my road. Off my road. Oh, Gamer Cube 64 is here. It's going great. Great to have you here, sir. Great to have you in our Tuesday night live stream of the Atari Flashback Legends Blast. All the fun things we got going on right here. Glad to have you a part of it. That thing turns black for a second before it drops the oil slick. I had a game called Night Driver. Yeah, I've done some Night Driver. It's not without its charm. So back to the menu. Let's see what else we got. You're getting buried in muscles. All right. Lock and Chase. Now, Lock and Chase is a game that I don't have a history with, but of course it is Pac-Man-ish and therefore very playable. So if I suck at this, don't laugh too hard. But man, it's kind of got an addictive quality to it. Whoop. Pardon me. Whoop. Oh, I donged it. I know these things have a significance and I'm supposed to be putting up doors or something like that. Captain says, you know, I respect the Atari for what it is, but that game looked like a warm turd wrapped in hot garbage. You know, it's got to be that nostalgia factor. You know, there's a lot of really old archaic stuff that I get into. I played frickin', you know, text adventure games back in the day and thought it was neat. Of course, I'm a big D&D head too, so that may be why. And we're even going to look at that stuff eventually in the Vintage Computing series because it's part of it, you know. Yeet, Lock and Chase. Yeet. We're out. Atari Jaguar for the win. Well, that one was moving fast. I have never actually played a Jaguar. Definitely never knew anybody that had one of those. That thing didn't sell. I don't care what the numbers say. Never saw one, never knew anyone that had one. I've seen them out, not for a price I would pay. But yeah. Oh! Well, that unraveled quickly. I'm running out of Lock and Chase, man, and we went out for Chinese food, and it was really good, but I ate too much, and I'm miserable. Whew. I gotta go on a diet next year. Whoop. Out we go. I'm sure there were some decent stuff on the Jaguar. You know, there was decent stuff on the 3DO too. You know, so a lot of those weird systems that just came out for the sake of coming out had stuff, but a lot of it was just hot, wet farts. Ah. That might have ended my run. Nope, I got one more lock and chase, dude. Shark Attack was another one that was mad Pac-Man-ish and fun to play, and I really think I got that pellet, but I didn't get credit. Gotta get that one straggler. I'm gonna end up killing myself doing it too. Whoa! Jesus. I think the 3DO Road Rash was supposed to be decent and also had a nice soundtrack. Most of the Road Rash about that time was what we wanted done with your Soundgarden soundtrack, and oh man, big time Road Rasher here. 3DO was also the only console, and this is why I love it, to have a copy of Star Control 2 available for it, which if you've never played it, emulate it, do whatever you have to do to play Star Control 2. Without Star Control 2, there would be no Mass Effect. I mean, that's how influential that was. Regardless of how many people may not know what it is or have never had the pleasure. Starflight and Star Control had a baby, and there it was. And I don't even think they know how it happened. But it happened. Ooh. Careful now. Careful now. Oh, I've been locked and chased. Oh, I've been locked and chased. Am I still alive? You must get 5 guys. And there goes the last one. Well, dad darn it. That wasn't that bad of a run, was it? I'm sure there's worse. I am sure there are worse. Well, yeah, all Atari all week on the show, guys, and that's not even by design. It just kind of happened that way. There happens to be a lot going on with this right now, and I'm excited about it. It's fun. I love when vintage stuff comes out and shows its butt like this, and it's that accessible, you know. Sure, we've got Ataris in the house. I've got everything I need to play old school. But one of the neat selling points to this thing is you're going to hear a lot of people dog on it, because that's just becoming fashionable, I guess, and there's some things that could have done better. That's with everything, though. The selling point for this to me is if you want to stream some Atari and you want it to be really easy, the Flashback Blast is your boy. You plug that dongle right in the capture card and go. And there just ain't more to it than that. Krillin has joined us. Welcome, Krillin64, to our Tuesday night live stream of the AtGames Flashback Blast unit. Can be yours for under $20. Again, yeah, don't tell me where to put my dongle. You stop into Walmart, you pick up some Bull Duke. I was literally in there to buy toilet paper. And I walked out with a couple of these. Molly was with me. I was like, we're going to go over here and see what's in the game section. Because we do. And I'm kind of feel myself about to get back on an amiibo kick. And I don't want to. But it's going to happen. And just seeing what else there is. And these were there. I didn't even know these were out yet, you know. Because I know people get early review pieces. And I didn't know if that was what those were. Or if these were in stores. But there they were. And I was like, yeah, I can't leave any of it there, man. There's a lot of plug-and-play stuff at Walmart. Not all of it is stuff that I want to collect, but because I knew what this was and what it was going to do, it was instantly interesting to me. And because of the problems I've had with the Hyperkin Retron 77 since I got it, that originally being my means to an end of having this problem of no way to really stream Atari effectively. I wanted to give these a shot. Now you say, Mur, why wouldn't you just get on the PC and run an emulator and stream that? Well, I could, but the more stuff you have open, the more programs, and you know, this wouldn't be a very stressful program, but the more programs you have open, including your streaming software, including the capture card software, yada, 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 that tends to put a strain on a PC, and my PC is not the most powerful out there. So emulation, for me, isn't the best route if I can have a console pulling its weight on the table here. Optimally, that's what I want. So that's what this is delivering right now. And that's going to change because you know we've got updates to make. We know we have upgrades to make. We know a lot of things are going to happen on the show next year. A lot of great things happening right now. So things are going to happen. But right now, this is where we're at. John from Gen X Grown Up is here. He is a Gen X Grown Up, and he is John. Mainly Gaming has joined us as well. John is a expert of all things Atari, especially having come from that era, and God, I just donged it. And he and I have been doing some talking on the Flashback scene here on what can be done to improve it and jazz it up. And we've got a little something in the works that I'm not going to talk about just yet, but stuff's going to be unveiled later on in the week. There's more things that we're doing with this. It's actually, these things are getting cooler by the day, having them in the house, not the other way around. And again, the people that have complaints about some of these units, I'm not trying to say those aren't legit complaints. I mean, if you bought something expecting one thing and turned out it was another, I mean, anybody's going to be a little disappointed. But I want everybody to understand that doesn't mean just don't go out and buy one of these. It just means know what you're getting. And if you do, I still think there's some fun in here for you and some convenience too. It's a novelty. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. But it goes a little beyond that. I think it does some neat things for you. And yeah, while it may be aimed at the casual gamer, I think anybody would want to collect these looking at them. The box art is cool. The stickers that came with them are neat. If you watch the unboxings, you know, it's just neat. I like what I got. I'm not disappointed in my purchase at all. And while AtGames may have some room to improve, every company does, man. And I just hope that they'll continue to learn from any and all of that and give us more products that are better as we go. Because somebody's got to provide this, right? Somebody's got to. So, if they're doing it, Jungle Hunt. The new Flashback 9 also has Pitfall 2 on it, which is really cool. Pitfall 2 was one of those games that it had an extra sound chip, I think, on it. So the Retron is not compatible with it. And I just bit the big one. Whoop! But it's one that I have physically and that I have wanted to stream. And there's a reason behind specifically wanting to do that. And again, I'm not going to speculate about what that is on this stream right now. Because these are little fun surprises for some of you Atari-ites out there. I don't want to spoil the surprise just yet. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. So good things coming. Yeet the alligator. I think that, I believe Gen X Grown Up did a piece on Jungle Hunt. John has done a few different Let's Plays on vintage Atari stuff. Him against George or him against Mo. So that's something that you all should check out if you have not already. They did do Adventure too. With the originator of the game, the creator. in the stream for Q&A, and that was a really unique experience. Everybody looks back at Nintendo every day. That's the common thing to look back at. But I think there's a lot of folks that didn't experience Atari, and that's fine. I'm not trying to pull elitism over them, but I think there's good stuff here that if they missed it, it's okay to look back this far and to absorb some of this. And then you get into something like this. This is a real non-threatening way to go about that. Because, you know, about 5, 6, 7 years ago, Atari stuff was worth nothing in the market. And it still isn't worth a ton unless it's uncommon stuff. So, I mean, I was buying Atari carts for 50 cents a piece, you know, in bulk lots. And that's where most of my Atari collection, present day, ended up coming from. Buying back stuff I used to have or used to play back then. But now, I mean, everything's costing money because of collectors and YouTube and eBay and blah, blah, blah. Uh-oh, it's on now. Whoop! Whoop! See ya. He got me. I got jungle hunted. Yeet, jungle hunt. Especially the later Atari stuff, 83, 85 were really good. They'd figured out how to get the most out of that paltry hardware. And you know what? The 7800 stuff was really good. 5200 stuff was really good. And you know, neither of those had a chance to really take flight because Nintendo and Sega had already staked their claim there. And I like the variants in the 88, you know, 2600 boxes versus the old ones, and I collect some of that. I got a sealed copy of Venture over there with explicit instructions not to open until Doomsday. So, yeah. Icefire says, but Chris Barnes, Maria. Yeah, Chris told me where to find that dadgum 6 Feet Under song I've been trying to find. Turns out it was a bonus track on a box set. So, good. I'm going to have to buy a box set. Dead and Buried, Living Life in the Grave. If you haven't listened to that, any of you metalheads out there, great 6 Feet riff. Wasn't expecting him to reply, but he did. Because the song's not on iTunes, and it's like, man, I've got a lot of 6 Feet Under in the car. I've got a lot of 6 Feet Under CDs. But at this point, you know, I'm not an old man about it anymore. If it's on iTunes, I'll just put it on my phone or whatever. I do still bump some CDs in the car, but man, that's just gone. I mean, we just bought a new Honda Civic, and there's no CD player in it because they just don't think you need that. I mean, it's loaded. The car is, but no CD player because who plays CDs anymore? You don't need that Case Logic book in your car. You got Sirius XM. You got all this. You don't need it. So, yeah, I was wondering about that. But I'm an old man, got old man's ways. Sometimes I want my CD. We're in a tank, having what we want done. DGC, that game collector, did a review on the SNK 40th collection coming out on the Switch. The box set of that is on its way to my door. We'll be taking a look at that in a couple of days. But check out his early review of it if you haven't already on his channel. That's another great collection that we've got coming. Any of you SNK heads, I can't personally wait to play some POW Arcade and some Athena. Get off me. Yeet, Frontline. Yeet. Frontline is not a game I have a lot of experience with. And you get to a point here and I just don't know what to do. But I like the cut of the jib here. I like what it's doing. I picked this game up physical at AthCon years ago and never really got around to playing it. And we streamed it when it was on a Flashback unit that I picked up. at a yard sale for 15 bucks. And that was actually my first time playing it. So there again, the flashbacks give us a way to at least let this stuff catch up with technology so that we can enjoy it in the context of, you know, what we're doing right now. We're streaming it, we're looking at it, we're talking about it, and that's a good thing. Until there's a way to upscale some coax to something, and I don't know, I mean, is there a need for that? I don't know. Maybe there is a way, and I don't know. But until then, this is a good option. And the flashback units are a great option, and we're going to look at why that is later on this week. Oh, poop on a stick. Got him. Kevin says you can go coax through a VCR. And yeah, I guess you could. And I've got a VCR. But at a certain point, it's like, can't I just do this? You know, I mean, we want it to be easy. And we want it to be stable, too. And not that that wouldn't be, but, you know, who knows? When we can get this stuff to an HDMI port and rock it, that's what's up, you know. Damn it. You know what this game reminded me of the most and why it resonated with me a lot was Rambo First Blood Part 2 on the Sega Master System. And those of you that watch this show, some of you know that's a very special game to me. That was my first Sega game outside of the pack-in hang-on Safari Hunt cart. And a game that it took me 30 years to get to the end of and actually finish because Sega, on their hotline, had told me the wrong way to finish the game. Because back then you didn't know, and the manual didn't tell you what you had to do at the end. Turned out you can just use your machine gun on that dadgum barricade, but they were telling you to use the missiles and that you had to do that. And that was getting you killed because they don't have the same range as your rifle does if you got the long range attachment. So for years I'm playing that all wrong and I don't see the ending. I cried at the end of that. If you don't believe me, go back and watch it. It was live on the show. We streamed it. What an intense moment that was to see the end of that after so many years. I was 7 years old when I got that game, finally beating that dadgum thing. Gen X says you got to play some Save Mary next. Well, I'm sure we can do that. Captain, I think you're going to have a great next run. That's what I think. I got high hopes for it. We're going to work together on some things. We're going to strategize. And you're going to rise from the ashes of that crap. All of that's a learning experience, you know. We're trying to do the best we can here for our channels, all you guys. We all are, you know. And that deal with the MLB, we didn't know. You know, you obtained that game fair and square. No one knew about an embargo on something that you were actually able to pick up from a retailer physically that you pre-ordered and paid for. And you were a victim of the system. And it just... I mean, I got messed up on the Rambo deal. You know, I got banned for that. I got it fixed, thank God. But that was only because the film company was able to help me out. The algorithm thought I was streaming the Rambo movie. Didn't even bother to even find out what it was. It wasn't a person that did it. It was just automated. Thought I was streaming a movie I didn't have the rights to. In reality, we were playing the Master System game. And I'm like, what? Are you telling me my best gaming achievement ever happened to be live stream, which is just great. And now it's gone. But thankfully, it's still up. And we smoothed that over. So, just learning experiences, man. And growing pains. Because it can be painful. I ain't gonna lie. That sucked. Finding out that my greatest moment was taken. Dadgummit, you're no more safe in the tank than you are anywhere else. Alright, menu. Menu. Oh. We lost power there for a minute. Well, you can see the Blast logo come back on. Yeah, it was a misunderstanding, man. And the film company, luckily they're based in Europe. They're like, oh, sorry. You know, we didn't do that. We just have that set to protect our interests. And they uplifted the copyright. So, yeah, the Blast thing's got to be USB powered. And I got it plugged into my Wii here and it went to sleep. So, I think Mary is on the other blast. And we will take a look at that in a future stream too, but I'm not going to switch all this around for this one here. We're going to keep looking at this one for now. Lots more Atari stuff coming our way this week. Yeet, Lock and Chase. We'll look at Space Invaders again just because I think that's been the topic of discussion. That this is not obviously the original 2600 game, and it's not an NES ROM either. We were thinking that because that's what happened on the Pac-Man unit, that's what was used. These were actually made for this to avoid some licensing problems, I guess, that they just couldn't get around. So these are new ROMs that were made specifically for this unit. And while that may be a turnoff to some folks, it's here and it is playable. It's not bad. Speaking of Space Invaders, I had a game on the Atari ST called Word Invaders, and it was on a typing tutor program. And it played just like Space Invaders, but every time you typed one of the letters of the paragraphs that you were looking at, it would zap an alien. And the reason I got a reminder of that existing recently is Captain Retro picked up a copy of Word Invaders on cassette for the Commodore in one of the Commodore lots he picked up recently. And there's a video on his channel about that pickup. If you haven't seen that, go there and check that out. That was a really neat score. But yeah, you think about Space Invaders, all the versions of it, all the iterations of it. I mean, we even saw editions of it on the Nintendo DS. This is a game that's been around, man. I'll catch up on the chat in just a moment here. So yeah, John says this is a decent clone. It's just not what you sign up for when you turn it on. And I think that's everybody's complaint. And it's like, you know, it's a legitimate one. But people were most upset about the Pac-Man unit being NES ROMs. And then some people say that there was severe screen tearing to the point of being unplayable. Now, I can't confirm or deny that yet because my Walmart doesn't have any more of those. I think I'm just going to order one because I want that one. I just want it. I don't care if they're NES ROMs. I played a lot of NES Pac-Man. I played a lot of NES Galaga. And I'm dead. So, yeah, not really upsetting to me. Why is your score locked at 9999? Well, I didn't even notice, was it? No, there we go. But yeah, I was playing. Was it at 9? It was, wasn't it? Alright, so back to the menu. Just wanted to look at this real quick. We'll look at some other stuff. That was curious, though. I almost got to look twice at that now. Did it make my score go to 9999 at one point? God, I can't quit burping this fried rice. Somebody save me. I need a Tums dispenser on my desk. If any of y'all are looking for any last-minute gift ideas for me this year. God, I'm like a fish. If you put the food in front of me, I'm going to eat it all. And it can kill me. God, I eat and I eat and I eat. That's got to stop next year. And I'm not a fat dude, but I'm going to get there. I was the Buffalo's Bar and Grill King of Wings in 2009. True story. 80 hot wings in a single sitting. And I was going to try to beat that record at Ohana in Disney World recently, but my wife talked me into an alcoholic beverage, which we were entitled to with our meal plan. And after that, I just didn't have the stomach for it. I can't get drunk and eat like that. That's just not something I'm geared to do. I was skinny in high school. When I was in my fighting weight, I was a $132, I think I was. I never weighed an ounce over that. And I would drink weight gainer by the bucket loads, and it didn't matter. And I would weight train, and it didn't matter. And I would get stronger, and my mat technique would get better. But yeah, I was a lightweight. All right, come on, let's get this thing. I mean, when I went to the next level, did it change my score? I mean, I'll have to look back in the recap on that. Here we are in the next level. We're joined by Cabot. Welcome, Cabot. If you are a newcomer to the Emceemur Show, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And everybody that's currently watching, if you've not already done so, they can drop a like on this video. It is the likes that help get these things promoted. Even the dislikes, just make sure that thumb goes one way or the other. It's all about them thumbs. We want people to see what we're doing here. Most importantly, we want to spread awareness about some of these products, the fact that they're available, that you go to the store, pick them up right now, pick them up a retail store, location, pay the clothes and money, and enjoy them when you get home because it's something really neat and easy to do. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Maybe when I died, the score reset to that real quick or something. I don't know. Menu. Let's go look at some other things while we still got a few minutes here. John says, yeah, it was at that score the whole game. Wild. Well, you know, and I've said this before on these, it's a novelty, and if there's going to be a glitch here and there, you can almost expect that. It's not great, but it happens. Space Raid. That looks like Zaxxon, but let's see what it is. ColecoVision, it says on it. Okay. I'm not familiar with it, but okay. Oh, okay. I'm with you. What in the world? Alright, so we're kind of going an up and down thing here. And I blew up. KP, welcome to our live stream. We're kind of on the tail end of it, but you are just in time to drop a like on this video and catch some of the action while you are here. Because we're not done yet. Still checking out some of what this thing can do, and I don't know what that thing is flying at me. I know we're blowing up a few planes here, so you kind of got to gauge their altitude by your size to hit them straight on, and that's kind of a neat dynamic. Not just like a top-down shoot 'em up or whatever. And I gotta wonder if those are power-ups or what. Not familiar with this program at all. I believe that sound means I'm hitting it. But it sure isn't doing much in the way of damage, it doesn't seem. Oh, hell. What was I going to do there? Go under it? Okay, now I'm confused. Okay, so wait a minute. So you just hit a wall? CM Retro says, sorry I'm late. Can you start over? Hey, if it were up to me, I'd play all night. But we can at least start this over because I'm not sure what just happened. I think those are planets or something. I think that was just for looks. A little scenery. I got him. I'm not understanding why we got to a certain point there. Jim says it looks like a bad Zaxxon clone. Yeah, it's like, I think that's what they were going for in the artwork, but it definitely plays a little bit different. But I think that's what they wanted to go for, was something along those lines. Well, you can't shoot your way through it. And you can't get to the left of it. Are you supposed to shoot your way through? I mean, there's no way to get through it. It's like there's a notch cut out at the top. Okay. Okay, now we got gun batteries. I couldn't even really perceive that there was a notch cut out at the top. We're not doing a lot of damage on these enemies here. I want to try to take out one of the gun batteries if I can get low enough. Get low. This isn't bad. I mean, I remember getting games like this brand new for my Commodore back in the day and just being like, oh, cool, you know, and then you enjoy it. And I tried to engage that thing and it didn't work out. Let's try it again. I'm starting to like this. And then you just got used to it. You know, the graphics weren't a thing. The gameplay kept you coming back. The score kept you coming back. You wanted to do better each time. I want to blow that thing up. Oh, I'm flirting with disaster right now. Alright, here we go. Notch at the top. And we're through. I guess you could shoot that rocket if you were positioned right. Look at me getting greedy and going for a gun battery blow up. Oh, I didn't do the right airplane control. I about paid for that. So I'm guessing the orange plane here at the end is like a boss fight. I'm also guessing that it may not go down with just one hit. Ooh, I got my gun battery the way I wanted to. Okay, that's the warning. Here it comes. Maybe that's like a homing missile and it's not a plane and I need to dodge it. Maybe we go the afterburner route here. We just don't engage and we advance by not engaging. Now that thing comes right for you. It's heading right for us. Oh, and then I got hit with the big ding-dong rocket. Jesus. Jesus, pleases. I mean, if it's coming right for me, you think I could hit it. Now we're seeing some new enemies here and a lot more gun batteries down low. This isn't bad. This is remarkably playable. Oh, and just like that, I thought I was going through the slot and it didn't happen, dadgummit. Do You Nerd has joined us. Welcome, DYN. You get an extra gameplay just because you showed up. We're actually out of time, but we'll do one more. Alright, that was kind of cool. Shield shifter. Why not? It looks cool. The artwork looks cool. A lot of times that's what it's all about. Well, alright. Oh, so we're trying to bust through a shield here and get that thing, I take it. Yeah, so this is like a crazy take on Breakout, almost. And we're scoring every time. Ooh, we got it. Alright, so that's that. I don't hate this. This is kind of cool. I schlonged it. I know that some of these games were made for this, you know. It's a thing to start to make brews for the Ataris now. There's even a Halo out for 2600. So many cool things, and there's a whole following of people that, oh, and that was close, that want to play stuff in this format, and I think it's really cool. It's something that I miss, and it's something that I appreciate, and it's something that I'm glad to get back to. And again, these little units are just really friendly, easy ways to access some of that stuff without going through the nightmare of coax adapters and Phillips head screwdrivers and BUHF boxes and all that good stuff. Yeah, this is a homebrew. I don't think this is official by any means, but it's a cool concept. And some of those 2600 games did lack concept. There were a lot of games on 2600 that just weren't playable. They were just bad. And I don't want to say that and sound like I'm not an Atari fan, because I am, but I will also call it like I see it. There's been many 2600 games I've gotten, and I put it in, and I'm just like, what is this? And then when I even figure out what to do with it, it's like, oh, well, this is just... It's all gameplay, because that's all we had. There were no graphics. So once you take that away, if it's really not that playable, then it's really not that fun. So the challenge is to make the fun gameplay. And so many games knock that right out of the park. That's why they're the hits that they are. That's why this put gaming on the map in the first place. So something like this here, for people to come to it years later and make their own things and know what they want from it, and then you get something like this that's playable and fun, and you're going for high scores, and you're playing with a buddy, and yada yada, that's just great. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, this is a little bit of all right. This is turned on. This is jacked up. This is what I want done. So again, these are all on the Space Invaders blast. Blue box. If you're out shopping, next time you're at Walmart, and if you're like me and you're picking up some toilet paper so everybody can still wipe their butts, stop by the game section and grab you one of these just for the hell of it. It ain't gonna hurt you. Everyone's like, oh, AtGames, yada yada. It's like, yeah, but yeah, it's a cool item. It's cool that somebody's even making this. The alternative is that they don't make it. And then what? Then you don't have this for $17 to pick up and have fun with. I'd rather just have it. It was fun to buy. It was fun to unbox. And we're having fun with it right now, and we're looking back at some things, and we're reminiscing, and that's what this is all about. That's what we're really replicating, is the memories, and as a community, what we share, what we did with these back in the day, So if there's any value in it at all, there's that. We sat here and we had a good talk about Atari tonight. And a lot of you are big-time enthusiasts of that. Atari Creep has joined us. Welcome, Atari Creep. Great to have you in the live stream, Tuesday Night Live. Checking out the blast. And again, it's all Atari all week here on the show. We will be taking a brief look at some Call of Duty later tonight, just because we've got to. There's some things going on with Black Ops 4 that we can't ignore, that we need to look at. But for the most part, we got a lot of Atari stuff to knock out this week, including but not limited to the first episode of our Vintage Computing segment that's going to go live this weekend. Cannot wait to share that with you guys. Been months in the works on that, trying to get around to where we can actually have a break in the schedule to produce that. And it's turning out. I've already learned some things I'll do differently with the future episodes. It's tricky doing videos on these old archaic setups, but man, it's something so cool, and it's something I cannot wait to share with you. And yes, I could go for some candy cigarettes or some Big League Chew right now. We would always walk up the street out of the neighborhood to the Eckerd drugstore on the corner, and we would make sure we'd get all that kind of stuff, and then just game till we couldn't see straight. Cool ass Robert Payne snuck in there. Welcome, CARP. Ugh. I'm getting redonked over here. Well, that was my last dude. So again, this is it. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Well, guys, I'm going to tell you. That was fun. And again, if we did nothing else, we had a great talk about old school Atari goodness. There's value to this. There really is. Are there better ways to play Atari? I think the answer to that is always yes, no matter what you look at. And as we advance, there's always going to be new ways to go back and take a look at the stuff from yesteryear. But this is kind of neat. It's fun. It is what it is, you know. So lots of great stuff coming your way. everybody watching and everybody that watches the recap. I hope that you're going to drop a like on this video. Hope that you did like this video, and if you've not already done so, hope that you can just subscribe to the Emceemur Show. Do you have one of these things? Do you want to buy one of these things? Do you know someone that has one of these things? Do you have a friend that has one of these things? Does a friend call you and let you know that he got one of these things? Are you glad that your friend did get one of these things? Did your friend invite you over to house to play one of these things? What did you think? What you got to your house to play one of these things? Did your friend invite you over to dinner before you decided to play the game? What did you decide to have for dinner before you decided to play the game with your friend? Your friend okay with you coming over? What did your friend decide to offer you for dinner? Did you enjoy the dinner that you had before you came over to play the game with your friend? Let me know in the comment section what you think about all the aforementioned, because you know that I love getting a conversation with you right here on the Emceemur Show. Something we like doing a lot of, talking and kicking it old school, talking about all these great memories that we have with these dadgum things. It's so neat, and there's so much more coming your way this week. So stay tuned, keep the dial right there to the Emceemur Show. Great stuff coming. I want to thank everybody that dropped by tonight in the live stream. Great to have each and every one of you. This was a great time, and there's a lot more coming your way. Emceemur signing off for this edition of Tuesday Night Live Stream, and I will see each and every one of you again next time.